Hey guys, it's Eric from Team Rec. I have a deck profile to show. It is my Purrely deck that I took to locals last weekend, Undefeated. Just gonna jump right in here. So we got 3 Purrely, 3 Purrely. I've seen people cut down to 2. I like to have 3 of each. You can monster brick with it. I will concede that, but I think it's worth it for the grind game. And these aren't bad bricks to have. Like, they're usually your normal summons. So yeah, on 3 of each there. 3 my friend, pretty standard there as well. 3 street. I still think 3 is a non-negotiable for this deck. Couple arguments, just like from a mathematical perspective, this is going to guarantee your street hit off of my friend, of course. And then just in general, this format, it's still really strong. It can solo a lot of decks that will just be able, they're just sitting there and they can't do anything while you have this up. But targeting is like your biggest weakness in the setup. You don't want to get hit with Veilers, Imperms, like Moonlit Chills on the way up. So this really cleans up that and eliminates that possibility. So 3 of for sure. And then of course the quick plays, if we can maximize them all, we would. So 3 pretty, 3 happy, 2 sleepy, and a delicious. Happy is probably the best of the quick plays this format. It has a lot of utility compared to the other ones. Obviously happiness is like your best going second card, and just building your board and searching new pieces while also breaking their board. But just for what the card does itself, it's pretty cool. It can stop your stuff from getting popped from your opponent's princess, which is always annoying. Like, it plays around some of the Fire King cards too. A lot of stuff that will destroy you, like Labyrinth, if they have their field spell up. Unchained, it can stop them from popping their stuff. You know, a couple decks this still puts in work as just like a non-engine piece. So just a little aside there. And then the last card is Purrely. I've been toying with multiple, but I don't really want to see the game out that long where I need multiple. I think a good skill with this deck is actually knowing when to scoop, because time can really mess this deck up. You really got to be strategic. Obviously, you really want to win your first game. But yeah, hand traps. I'm on 3 Ash, 3 Veiler, 3 Nib. These are the strongest. Of course, Imperm, like in terms of playing around talents, but in the context of Purrely, I think these are way better to draw into, like off of your sleepy memory. Like, you're drawing up to 4 on a good day. So I'd rather draw into these than dead Imperms. Like, sure, you got to cut back on them, but that's a risk I'm willing to take. And then I play 3 more hand traps just as singles here. This probably is going to give away my next card, but these are just one-ofs, and they're the one-ofs that I wanted to safeguard my deck against the most. Droll hurts you a lot, especially if you like search my friend or you can't play draw phase. Kind of shuts down your turn in a way, and then you don't want to get hit with these while you don't have street up. And then sort of to justify those one-ofs, I'm on 3 crossout. I didn't play this card for the longest time, but I realized I kind of have to. This deck's very fragile. It has a really good setup and grind game, but to get to those points, you often need to go uninterrupted with your field spell. But this kind of fills that void where you don't have it, because a lot of times I'm down to 1 hand trap, especially when I wasn't playing that card. So love crossout. And then if you don't even get to use it, it can kind of be like a like a negate on your turn to hit popular cards that people play in their main deck, like Triple Tactics Talents. That card's really good into a Purrely board, especially if they steal something that's not in your Noir. If they steal your Beauty, that kind of sucks. So I like using Crossout to stop that. And then also just to have it, or drawing it with Crossout, makes for a really insane first turn. I think you at least need to play one of this card. And then I'm on 2 pots. 3's a little excessive, because there's so many ways to get to the same board. But sometimes you do need to dig, and there's value in having 2 over just other cards in general. So we're on 2 pot. And then Rivalry. See this card floating around in a lot of Purrely builds these days. It's probably their best floodgate, of course, because they're strictly relying on fairies. You know, the odd time they're going into like Zeus or SP or taking the opponent's things, but it's pretty rare with the one-of talents. So yeah, I didn't really get to see this card in play, so I don't know if I'm sold on it yet, but I see the theory for sure. It's really good going first or second. It's kind of like a pseudo board wipe when you're playing second and it sticks. And of course it's just really good this format into a lot of decks. Makes it awkward for all the heavy hitters, at least, like Voiceless and Snake Eye, of course. That's it for the main extra. I'll just start the links here. We're on SP, Anima, Linkuriboh. In my time playing Snake Eye, I realized how good this card is generically, so I decided to throw it in this deck because, hey, we're using a lot of level 1s. But dodging imperms and being able to just keep recycling that interaction is kind of cool. I just wanted all the coverage from targeting I could get, whether it was using this in the grind game to dodge imperms, or having street up, or just having crossout. I was really strong there. And then protecting your smaller Purrely XCs by battle was really clutch, because oftentimes I would just have an extra level 1 body floating there. I'm on these. These are kind of my non-Purrely XCs. 2 Zeus. I did have a Typhon. I don't like Typhon. Like anytime I'm using that card, I'm probably losing the game anyway. And the fact that it's your last summon for the turn, it's not a good card to end on. A lot of decks just play under that 3,000 cap, so I think the card's pretty useless right now. Downer, just to get format Zeus. And then these are my Wing Beasts. That will make sense with my side deck, but this card's really funny. It makes people play awkwardly, and then it can make decks play into Nib really fast if you just keep bouncing their Kashtira monsters. And the cool thing is it's 2+ level 1 monsters, so you could theoretically make a bigger one of this with more materials and stun your opponent out. It's not the greatest card, but I think it's like one of the better level 1s to, or sorry, rank 1s to end on. And then this card's just to like crash into boards also, and guarantee Zeus. 1 Beauty, 1 Noir, 1 Plump. I'm gonna go back up to 2. I've slowly realized this card's like the best in the deck, and you don't need 2 happiness. If you're resolving 1 happiness, you're in a very favorable position anyway. But this card just helps you break boards. If your opponent lets this one fly, like as you're playing into their board, it makes your crackback pretty lethal, because you can just trade with one of their negates, which is usually in the form of a monster when you're trying to make your next play. And then this is always going to be attaching stuff if you make with pretty. So I find this card puts a lot of pressure on, and I really valued having more than 1. If I already use it early, I'd have to use Yeep to get back into it. And then 2 happiness. I'll probably change that for a 2nd Beauty. I just always found myself banishing this off of prosperity anyway. And then 2 Noir. Side deck, I'm on 2 bestial monsters. Bestials are awesome this format. It's a lot of decks, like in a not in a crazy way, but it's going to hit the Snake Eye deck. But all those other matchups like Branded, Voiceless, Labyrinth, just puts in a lot of work, and this deck needs big bodies sometimes, and this helps push for game. And there's just a lot of like cool interactions, like sending this off of Pretty Memory to attach and then getting Druid Swarm effect. Pretty insane. I think everyone should have at least 2 in their side. 2 Kurikara. This deck like struggles with big monster boards. This is kind of a cool way to address that, because the deck is pretty good at picking everything else apart, but Kurikara fills a void. And I know it's kind of a unpopular card this format, but with Purrely, I think it comes with the territory. And then if you find yourself playing a mirror match, obviously that's pretty valuable to have. I was on these are some going first cards. I did have a 3rd summon limit and a 3rd defissure, but I have a Black Goat Laughs and a Feather Storm. So I also play 2 Thrust, so I guess I'll kind of explain here. I can't thrust into these, so I wanted some thrust options for going first cards that were just generically good at skipping turns. I didn't really get to see this in action, so I'm not really going to have an opinion on that, but I know the reasoning's pretty good for Feather Storm. Like in this deck, if you get hand trapped a ton, you're probably still able to put up 2 level 1s. So I'll just go into like Ensemble or Fucho and just use that to survive. And then Defisher and Summon Limit, they go crazy this format. There's really not much else to say, and this is also going to protect you from Droll. And then the thrusts are for mainly my going first cards, but I did play a Duster as well. So just putting pressure on those back row decks. And then on that note, I also played 2 Cyclone. So that is the deck. Any questions, drop a comment below. And yeah, stay tuned for more videos. Peace out.